Hello everybody, my name's Carl. This is my backyard. Welcome to Carl's backyard. You see the fish are out. Turns out it's a warmer day today than I expected it to be. I expected to lock myself inside all day and try not to freeze to death, but it's a little bit warmer, so I threw on a cap and came outside. Taking care of some just general housekeeping stuff, kind of finishing off and tidying up some loose ends that I got going on out here. And the first thing I've already started, I'm getting these two water iris plants. These two aquatic plants, I'm not sure what they are, and they've never bloomed, always just been greenery. And I don't believe that they're hardy in this area, but because they've never really done anything for me, they're not exciting, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. I didn't want to bring them inside this year, so I left them out here, kind of seeing how they do. The vegetation on them all died away after we got a couple of good freezes in, and I just finished trimming off all their green. You can see it's very, very wilty and dead. It's not doing so hot from having frozen a couple of times, the weather getting cold. But I'm going to leave them out here. They've been out here for a little while. They're going to stay in the water. I'm just kind of curious to see what they do over winter, see if they come back in the spring or not. I might push them down a little bit more after I've cleaned this area out. I need to get up and go get the rake to finish raking out all the loose bits and leaves that have accumulated here in this corner. I'm going to get the leaves kind of raked out of this corner. And I think I might even go ahead and start bagging up some of these leaves. Don't have a lot of leaves in the yard, so I'm debating whether or not to go ahead and bag up another bag or two, three of leaves, or just go ahead and call them good and mulch them in the spring when I mow. I do have some leaf cleanup I'm going to go ahead and take care of here. And like I said, I just chopped the leaves off of those, piled them up over here. So I need to go get a yard bag to move those into and get the rest of the leaves out of this little corner here. I'm going to figure out something to do with this corner so it's not this weird rock assemblage that it is. If I can get some more of this flagstone, I might go ahead and do another row here. Under the leaves, that's all just gravel, right? Really weird sloped, slanted line of gravel that tends to tumble in, and then it's like a rock wall around the cypress tree here. So I might do something with that in the spring or next year anyways. But for right now, I'm going to stop talking and go get things done. Sometimes when you're just putzing around in the yard, it's important to take a step back to admire the handiwork. Ooh, look, I raked up some leaves and I have a fire smoking away. It's important to take that step back and get the big picture view to see if I left a mess anywhere that I want to clean up, as opposed to leaving a mess that I'm just going to leave. So really I'm scoping the yard, seeing if there's anything else I can do instead. Because there's only so much progress I'm going to make on the task at hand before it gets cold and dark. It's already starting to get dark and cold. Looking at that mess down there thinking, you know what, maybe I almost want to just go clean that up. But no, not really. A pile of sawdust getting moved down and spread around down there. But I can't just take a shovel because there's a lot of slabs of wood still in that pile. Pretty much every time I throw the shovel into the pile to scoop up sawdust, I'll hit a big piece of wood. I won't be able to get a shovel full of sawdust. If I stand here long enough, it'll be dark, it'll be cold. I did get mulch down in over there, so I shoved some of the 2x4s I had in there, kind of built a wall out of them. It's not great, but it's bigger than a gaping hole. And I'm not sure that corner itself was an issue because there's so much piled in there, the air can't, there's not a lot of airflow going on in that corner. It's kind of a lot of stuff piled up in there. I think I still need to go ahead and get the edges here alongside the door taped over. I think just taping the edge of the plastic, that'll help keep the air from flowing in and out of the gap in between plastics. This door itself, it's not very thick, and it's definitely not doing a super great job of insulating, and it's better than nothing. I'm still debating if I want to use up a lot of the tape just to cover up those holes. Dog scratching at it. I'm going to go up and down pretty much the whole length of the board. I want to leave this little part here, this little sticky out part. I want to leave that. It kind of acts as a wind trap when the door's hitched closed. It helps hold it in and keeps it from being a straight open shot through there. You know, kind of gives it some cover. You can see I got my little foam door gasket around there. There's the porch. It's a nice warm 70 something. I don't know, I can't see a thermometer from here. It's probably close to 75 because that's what I set the heaters to yesterday or the day before. I got the box fans blowing the heat away, and it helps with the circulation. I do got to move some of the plants. These ferns over here, this maidenhair fern especially, a little tender, a little sensitive to have that wind blowing on it constantly. I'm going to have to move that. Plan was to be out here cleaning up all day and get some propagation started. Some of the plants over here not appreciating the low light level that they're getting, and they're really tall, and so I definitely need to at least cut them back. But I want to go ahead and try and do some propagation on them while I'm here, and it just scares me. I didn't water today either, so they're pretty droopy for that. But yeah, I got my little, piles of leaves kicked to the side for now, so I need to spend some time out here doing some cleaning up and whatnot. I need to do some cleanup on some of the plants. I got my variegated bird's nest fern back there with all of his ugly looking fronds that need to be cut out, and cut out all the dead stuff so it stops expending energy on them. It's one of those, I'm not sure if it wants more light or less light than it's getting now. I'll probably just pull it forward and move that Madagascar palm somewhere else. I'm not sure why, but that Madagascar palm suddenly not looking, it didn't look all that great to begin with, but now it's looking even worse. tulips. It should be on the top shelf anyway, it's getting more light. And I want to get some propagation starting on Persian shield, folios, the other Persian shield, and I've got shrimp plants up here that are just going crazy all over the place. I want to trim them back and start some propagations off of them. And I got the new ferns that I got, still living in the box. I need to figure out somewhere outside the wind. I need to figure out somewhere to put them. Like I said, I need to clean up. That was my plan for this weekend, to go ahead and clean up out here, but then it was reasonably warm during the day, so I went outside, and now it's chilling down outside. But I've done some work, and I'm kind of really not feeling it, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing around here and check out that variegated fishtail palm. I am really loving that plant. So I moved the rock, that was sitting there, and that's just kind of a boring spot there. On the one hand, it doesn't cause friction points that catch leaves and debris that form the stream. On the other hand, it's kind of a boring spot. Like no interest in this one little spot here suddenly. Spring, maybe I'll put a plant in there. Although as soon as I said it, I didn't like that idea. I don't know. I'll figure something out when it's not really cold outside. And right now it's really cold outside. I went ahead and pulled a couple scoops of leaves out of the pond. The tricky part about pulling leaves out of the pond is as soon as you start to scoop them out, the pile disintegrates and scatters all over the pond. And probably why I tend to put it off is because I know it's not going to go nearly as easy as it looks. It always looks easy, right? It's just a line of leaves, in the middle of the pond where the current collects them all into a nice pile, basically. And it looks like it's easy because, if it were on the ground, you just scoop it up, and the leaves, unless it's a super windy day, the leaves aren't blowing all over the place. In the water, however, when you put your net in to start scooping up the leaves, it's a lot like slow motion tornado, and the leaves just scatter to the four corners of the pond. I do have to, though, because the fish also like to hide in the leaves, I do have to come back and spread the leaves out so that, they can dry and I can rake them back up later. But to make sure there isn't a fish, then it gets scooped up. It's happened before. I've scooped up a fish pulling leaves out. I saw it right away because he was all floppy. And so the pile of leaves was bouncing around. But yeah, gotta always check and make sure that the fish didn't decide to hide under the pile of leaves you're about to scoop up. I built a fire because I've got so much wood to get rid of, slowly burning through it. It was an actual decent fire. And then, of course, once I had the fire going, I just piled a bunch of wood chunks on top of it, gave it a drenching in lighter fluid. So now it's just going to smoke for a while. Much of that wood is still damp, definitely not dried out wood. It's going to smoke for a little while. I'm going to come over here, continue working on this pile of sawdust, getting it transported, relocated to the dirt down here, cover up that clay, let that sawdust kind of basically just sit and kind of act as a mulch, keep the clay from rehardening too much, hopefully break down, get in there, and improve the soil by adding some organics back into that clay. But here, let me see if I can get this right. Let's sit over here on the picnic table, not on the picnic table, but at the picnic table. I look off in the distance. I don't know if you can hear it because of course as soon as I come over here to show it doing it, the smoke, you can kind of see the smoke where the heat wave from the fire is going. It muffles the sound of that waterfall back here. If you listen, you can maybe, I don't know if it's showing through on audio, like you can hear the waterfall and then the smoke passes in front of it at the heat and it like disrupts the sound waves coming to you. So it muffles the waterfall. It's very distracting when I'm sitting at the picnic table and the waterfall volume keeps changing. There, I'll stop talking so we can hear it.